My friends, I have played Mario Kart World with my own 2 hands and eyeballs and other sensory organs. I have played it myself, been having a lot of fun with it, been having a real chill day. It's been really nice. You know, I thought Switch 2 launches is going to be crazy, but I don't know. I'm going the opposite way with it. I'm just having fun. Have a little fun playing Mario Kart, playing Welcome Tour. Just got done streaming Summer Game Fest, which was fun in its own kind of way, you know? And so now I'm here to give you my early impressions of Mario Kart World. And I will say, it's taking me a little getting used to. It just feels very different. You know, sometimes between these games, like some of them will feel a little bit more the same, and then you'll have these games that just you pick it up after not playing it for a while. You know, you go back to an old game and you just like, whoa, like this just feels weird. And I'm definitely getting that here. The way the car moves and just, you know, just precisely what happens on screen when you tilt the stick however far. It's just got its own way, its own flavor. And it's like, even when I'm doing well, I still just kind of feel clumsy. I still feel like I'm really, I don't know, just trying to get used to it. I will though, and I will say, the new movement stuff, all the grinding and everything, the new moves, it's awesome. It's fantastic. It really does just make the game a lot more fun for me. You know, the gameplay was already fun before. It's always been fun. But this really is just that little extra element. It's that much more stuff to do. And it's awesome because kind of like how in the previous games, you know, you have like the inside track and the outside track, and the outside track has boost pads. So you kind of have to like decide which one is best kind of on the fly. And then in 8, you know, it's like, oh, down here, and then you've got the anti-grav part out here. So you're like trying to decide which way you want to go. But now you've added in like more layers of complexity with grind rails, especially because it's not just going to be like a grind rail. Lots of different stuff can be grounded upon, and you often have like multiple layers that you can kind of hop between, and it feels awesome. It feels really, really good, especially whenever I get to like hop back and forth. But the thing about it is, yeah, you're often having to like choose whether or not it's worth going for, because you absolutely can just kind of ignore. I don't know. It seems like for the most part, you can just kind of ignore the rails and just do some plain old, good old-fashioned, honest driving. Oftentimes, going for the rails are something of a risk. You know, like some rails are really long and you can just kind of like mash the boost button, you know, or you have to like go up the little ramp part of the rail. You kind of catch it. You can just kind of like slide right into it, or a train track. It just automatically catches on. But then you have a lot where the only way to get onto them is from like above. Is like you gotta like be going off a jump and get onto it, or you do a boost jump. But the thing about the boost jump is like you have to be going fast enough to get it started, and when you do, it takes a good moment before you get that jump, and even then it can be a little bit tricky to like jump over and land on the thing. So you're having to plan ahead. It feels like I have to plan ahead more so than usual. Obviously, you've always got to be watching the track and seeing how things are going and what you're going to need to do as you go. But this, it feels like it adds way more of a need to kind of like look ahead and strategize and kind of like figure out like, ooh, what am I going to go for on the fly? You know what? I think if I do this like kind of trick here, and it's tricky and I'm not very good at it, and you often just kind of fail awkwardly. But whenever you pull it off, whenever you're just like, oh man, I did like jump at the right time and I managed to land on that thing, or I boost jumped, and because like whenever you're grinding on the rail, you can like just jump and it'll just give you a boost. So like often, even if you just touch the rail for a second, that's still beneficial because then you get a boost. And I don't know, it all adds together, and it's like this level of complexity that's not too far, and it's nothing that you like absolutely have to do. I don't know, maybe if you're playing competitively, you do. But right now, it just kind of feels like a fun option, and whenever I go for it and take a risk and pull it off, it just feels really good. It just makes these tracks feel very dynamic. Like the car itself, you know, even just the animation, it feels so much more alive. But then on top of that, you're also just jumping and grinding and wall riding around, and it's really, really, really interesting. I'm having a lot of fun. I think this really is something special. So I've done some Grand Prix, and I really do like the whole, like, the thing where they're connected together and you have to, like, drive to the next one. I still feel like they could have maybe done something with that where, like, it's a mini race and whoever gets there gets to, like, start further up, like some sort of bonus to the next. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't have really mattered. Maybe that wasn't important. I don't know. I like the idea of them playing with it. But even just this way, it's like sometimes the stretch to the next track is so long that we get to the track and I'm like, oh, like we weren't on the track already. I don't know. It just, it gives the game a really cool feel. I mean, obviously, like the sense of place, the connection going from one to the other, you know, these 4 different tracks, that is cool. But it also just gives the Grand Prix this kind of continuous energy. It feels so, like, organic. It's not just these clean, clear cut tracks. You also just get, I don't know, these little in-between areas. They're fun too. They just add a lot of variety. I will say about the tracks, so far, it does kind of seem like they are a little bit open and a little bit long at times. I mean, that was kind of one of the fears going into the game. If you're making this big open game and you're allowing for 24 players, you know, early footage, it really did seem like a lot of straightaways and a lot of really just big, wide tracks. And so, yeah, a little bit of fear that the game might kind of sacrifice some of those, like, tighter, more interesting and kind of smashed together-y courses, especially because, like, Mario Kart 8 already kind of had more wide open courses with, like, fewer pinch points. So at least so far, it does seem very slightly disappointingly open and straight. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing, though. It's like, it's early in the game. So maybe later levels, later tracks will get a little bit wackier. I don't know. It could just be that this is the way the game is. There is a slight element of disappointment. There are, like, I'm not that good at the game, but I have to play 150cc because anything else is just like, when you're on this straightaway and you're just looking at the carts in front of you and you're like, you know, there's like stuff, there's like items or jumps or whatever, but like sometimes you really are just kind of like, just like go, you're just like waiting to get to the end of this long stretch. So yeah. That's not to say that there are no levels with, like, smaller pinch point areas. There definitely are. It's just, like, way more often, these big open places. And, you know, you probably do get a lot of that in the in-between places, so maybe it's not that big of a deal. It's just something I noticed, and we'll see. Ultimately, even if it does turn out to be, yeah, this game does have just kind of less tight tracks. It's fine, you know. They they even said themselves, they've already kind of perfected the old style of track. So they're doing something a little bit different this time. You lose a little something, but you gain something. So yeah, it's probably fine. And so finally, let's talk about the open world. This game feels amazing. It really does. I mean, like, since the beginning, I could not wait to jump in and just go, just the feeling of freedom. It just seemed like it was going to be so much fun. And yet I still was not prepared for how the game feels. Literally in the opening seconds, when you hit the button and you go free roam, just something about the atmosphere, something about playing a Mario Kart game where it's got this kind of like persistent world and time is passing and there's like little characters all over the place. And it's very lively. There's like a lot going on. There's like stars bouncing all over the place. There's item boxes on parachutes floating around. I don't know. I almost can't even describe it. There is just something about it that's just got such a good feel. Something about it is immediately, like, comforting. You know, something about being here. It's just like, it's just a really nice place to be. And you know what? It is pretty big. Like, I keep hearing, like, conflicting things. I guess it depends on everybody's own, like, expectations or something. Some people are saying, no, it's disappointingly small. Other people saying it's big. I feel like it's pretty darn big. And the thing is, it's so interesting. It's so fun to just kind of, like, weave around randomly that I'll kind of find myself unintentionally sticking to an area, and I'll drive around kind of a lot. And I'm like, boy, I don't even know where I am now. And I look at the map and I'm like, no, I've been kind of sticking to one little area. Like, I spent a good amount of time driving around and I still only carved out like a little chunk. You know, obviously if you drive from one end to the other, I don't know how long it's going to take. It's not going to take hours. It's not Zelda. And yet if you just kind of cruise around, doing whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Every time I pop on that map, I'm kind of amazed by how little ground I've covered. It feels good. I am happy with how big the game feels. I think it's just about perfect. And it is fun. There's stuff to collect. There's stuff to do. Yeah, you've got the P-switch challenges, and this is tricky stuff. It's really not bad. Like, you know, some of these challenges I gotta try a good number of times, or I'll like try once and be like, oh, that's actually a little bit hard. Maybe I'll do it later. It's nice though. There's instant retry. You just click the left stick and it brings you back so you can try again. So I really appreciate that. So yeah, like there's stuff to find. I think a big problem is that there's no way to track your collectibles. Like you do, you know, you unlock carts, which is cool, and you unlock new characters, and you get like stickers. But like the open world collectibles, there's no way to track that. And so it's kind of hard because it's a little aimless. The stuff is just kind of spread out everywhere. The game doesn't directly incentivize you to do it. I mean, it does. There is like a little bit of an achievement system, you know, it'll be like, oh, you drove 100 kilometers or whatever. But yeah, so far it really is just kind of like you run around and get stuff if you want. And, it's like, it kind of, I'm really enjoying the game. It's just that it kind of feels like you can get a feel for the entire experience after like a half hour. You know, it's kind of like maybe not even that long. Like you will have seen all of the types of gameplay. Like obviously you're gonna get, you know, there's different tracks. Even just exploring the different tracks and looking at all the different areas of the map and finding all the little secrets. There will be new stuff, but like the gameplay experience, you kind of see it all pretty quick. You get that complete vertical slice pretty much right away. There just doesn't really feel like there's much to work toward. The world is so big. The world is so big that it just kind of, I don't know. It feels like they still haven't just like hit the button to unlock the full thing. You know, I don't know. Like I expect to see NPCs around the world, some sort of more substantial thing, a series of challenges, or just, I don't know, some kind of progression beyond just like getting all the food and unlocking the costumes, which they split them up again. What is that? Why did they do that? On the character select screen, all these costumes with all the food, they are separate characters. It's super annoying, but whatever. Beyond that, and like, yeah, unlocking characters. I mean, I'm glad I can unlock characters. I really do appreciate that. It just kind of felt like, considering the world is so big and they spent so long making this game, there is that part of me that feels kind of like, is this it? You know? It's, I don't know. It's hard because I am enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it a lot. And you know what? Like, I can't wait to play multiplayer with friends. I feel like exploring this big place while chatting, that's gonna be an absolute ton of fun. I really am looking forward to just exploring every part of this map. There's just that little thing, that little like, is this quite everything you have? I don't know. It's weird, but it is cool, and that's what I got right now. I'm going to keep playing it, and I hope to not take too long on the review. So that is why I do need to return to playing it more. I'm gonna go do that right now. I love you. I hope that if you are playing the game, you are having a good time with it as well. I will see you later.